I'm gonna officially bring it in. There's been a little bit of fantasy drama in my league. With Spencer Gay. Uh he won 3 weeks straight in the middle of the season, and he acted like he won the championship. He was the highest scorer 3 weeks in a row. And then he had an epic meltdown in the second half of the season. And it ultimately led him to miss playoffs in week 14, final week of the season loss. So I kind of said something today like, hey, or like 2 days ago, I was like, all the teams that missed the playoff. This is a very active group chat. So all the teams that missed the playoffs like said something like funny, like
Right.
like you know what I mean, like
Hey, this isn't the last time you'll hear from us. We're gonna Tim
yeah.
Tebow-esque
Yeah, like
off-season speech.
I made graphics all season. I made like it's just a group chat that like is always roasting each other's. Always people are always trying to like be funny. Like that's kind of the point. I gave out an official statement 2 days ago and was like, hey, if Sprack, like it's embarrassing that you haven't like said anything yet. And everybody kind of piled on. It went past. I sent out a text today for people who owed money as like a highest score. No response from him again.
Oh, he's ghosting.
Then he texted me separately and was like, well, I only owe this much. I was like, whatever. He sent it to me. So after him not commenting on his playoff loss, but seeing the group chat, and then also on top of it, getting not getting one trade done the entire year, my official statement is, in our 5 seasons, we have never had to make a move as significant as this, but effective immediately, Spencer Gay and his team ownership in our league will be terminated. Due to a lack of activity and 0 trades being made throughout the season and not making any comments after a late season collapse that led him to missing the playoffs for the 3rd straight season, he dug his own grave. We'll be looking for a 12th owner next season, and I appreciate all the hard work and dedication that you all put in, and felt that having someone cheat the grind has 0 place in this league. Let's have a great playoff. I felt like that's, as a commissioner, that's what I needed to do.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I feel like an official statement should have been made. I don't know what Sprack's team name is, but they should have addressed the media at some point.
Yes.
It's unacceptable.
It is,
to say the least.
I hate to do it, but like I just felt like as a commissioner I had to step up, so that's what I did.
That's your job.
It is.
So it's not an easy job, and if it was, everyone would do it.
Thank you.
You got to make the tough calls. So if you're out there and you need a fantasy league, I know a spot that just opened up. I'm already in 3, so I can't handle a 4th. But
yeah, and this one is a little more pressure than a lot of other fantasy leagues. It's very active. A lot of money on the line.
Like $100 grand.
$100 on the line. 10K buy. No, 8K buy-in for each person. So yeah. But anyway, I did not watch a second of football this Sunday, so this is gonna be a hard podcast for me to do. So like I might have to lean on you a little bit here, or we'll move on quick. But me and Noah went to the Travis Scott Utopia concert on Sunday, and it was electric.
Phenomenal. Probably, I mean, I haven't been to that many concerts, but that was probably like my favorite one. I went to the Life of Pablo tour when Kanye was at Penn State, and that was really good, but I think this one was better.
Yeah, I went to Astroworld in Philly in 2019 or whatever, when he first did it, when I was young, like when he first went on tour for Astroworld. And I thought that like the stargazing, like when he came out during Astroworld, it like did like the theme park amusement park song, and it's like welcome to Astroworld or whatever, and then like it drops and then stargazing comes on. I thought that was going to be like borderline like irreplaceable. I was like, I don't think an intro could ever top that intro. The intro on Sunday was all time. It was the stage was eerie, and then all of a sudden, like on the big screen jumbotron, a camera pops up and it's just Travis in the back, like it's like a W.
Open that shit up.
It's like a WWE like promo where he's just in the back, like with a black and white camera with a mic, and then there's just like a woman, like with a British accent that's like, what does it say? Before
It's like Travis, something like in a. I forget what she said.
it was like welcome to Utopia. Before the show
Yeah.
starts, make sure to open
Yeah.
that shit up. And like
Yes,
just on
yes.
just on repeat, and it's just like, and then the hyena beginning, the intro starts, and it gets crazy. Everybody's singing it. He comes out, the fireworks, the flames, like everything just hits so hard, and it was just such a big step up from the Astroworld concert that I was like blown away, honestly.
Yeah, I think that what really set it apart for me personally was Uzi coming out. That
That was
was
awesome.
all time. And I think that I like the Astroworld album better, but I think that this concert was better, like I said. Just like I think, like I said, I think Uzi is like what stood out, but it was like crazy. The what is it? I forget what it's called, like across the top, what he was playing. Just like
Like the visuals.
the visuals and were insane.
Yeah.
And the visuals were really good at Astroworld too, but the ones that he had up like on top of the Jumbotron that circled around Wells Fargo were just so cool. And I think once we get, I said this to you, I think on the way home, but the Travis documentary that we get is going to be just eventually, I hope it's going to be so good. I mean, his shows are just top tier.
Yeah, it goes down to like the sound, the lights, the fireworks, the flames, the guests. Like Tizo and Uzi came out, like the visuals, the feeling, like even the feeling, like when you first walk in, like you knew, like it was just like it was like a blue light, a black light, and like with like crickets, like over the loud system. Like Kyle Kuzma was there, Michael Rubin was there, Maxi was there. Like it was packed to the gills. Like me personally, I don't think I've ever seen like clips from a concert like as crazy as like a Travis Scott concert.
Oh, no doubt. I think that he takes the like top spot when it comes to that. Like a lot of people have like good concerts. Like honestly, like when I do see a snippet, it's not of like a full concert of somebody, but it's more so in a like Made in America spot where it's just like a song here and there. Like when Lil Yachty came out, I forget what concert it was at, but he was going crazy and that crowd was like electric, but that was only for like one or two songs. Travis has it going like that the entire time.
From the time literally from the time he walks out. And honestly, like I saw his exit a few times, and I like that how he does it, like where it's a complete wind down. He like takes his shirt off, throws it in the crowd, and starts performing telekinesis, and then walks through the back, has the camera follow him, and then like it's over. It's just like great opening, great ending. Like he absolutely killed it. I'm going again in like a week and a half, so I can't wait. And I literally have been fired up like since we've gone. Like it's just been like I've been thinking about going again. Like it's just like so fun.
Yeah. The exit was really cool. The whatever like filter or whatever they put on the camera for him when he was exiting, it was like black and white, and then like they kind of made it blurry. It was like a WWE exit. It was sick. They filmed him walking back into like the locker room basically, like through the tunnels and everything, and it was actually like some 1990s WWE shit. It was sick.
Yeah, it was sick. I literally like could talk about it forever. I saw that he performed Kelly Price in Detroit last night. Little salty because I love that verse that he does on Kelly Price.
So hard.
But like still, like you said, like which songs you wish he performed? I couldn't think of one just because every single one was so good and I had so much fun. Like I lost my voice in the like literally in the first during the first song.
Yeah, you lost it early. I texted you that I would have liked to hear K-pop.
Yeah.
I think that would have gone crazy at a concert.
It just would
Um,
have had I just feel like it would have had like the crowd like dancing like fucking crazy.
yeah, that would have been cool to see. But I mean, all in all, I can't really complain because I got to like we got to see him multiple times before. So like he pretty much covered all the older stuff that I wanted to see or to hear in person when we were at Astro World. Like he played Drugs You Should Try It, and that's a song that I was like hyped to hear.
Yeah.
So I wasn't like upset that he didn't play that one. Obviously, I would have loved to hear it, but it is what it is. I'm glad I got to hear it once.
Man, great concert. Can't wait to go again. Travis is my goat. I don't give a fuck. Like that album for me is like I like it more than Astroworld. I said it when it dropped after seeing it live performed. I just think it hits harder for me personally. Like a few songs off that bitch just like really go for me. Like when he performed Thank God, I literally thought I was gonna die. Like it's just like some of those songs just hit super fucking hard. So shout out Travis. That's my go and awesome concert.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Sticking to the topic of music, it appears that we have a Kanye West Ty Dolla Sign album coming out here this week.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
I saw the Yak snippet, the Kodak Black snippet. Did you see that?
I haven't seen that one. I've seen
He
a
goes
couple of him.
crazy.
Yeah, I've seen Everybody, of course. There was a song I think it was called like River with Young Thug. He was playing at that Jamaican spot down in Miami. I saw a couple clips from there, but they look awesome, and he might
It
be back.
sounds great. It sounds great. And honestly, like this kind of goes back to like what we talked about like a while ago. Like I like the fact how like Kanye and like Travis and like Frank to a larger degree like pop out and do shit like this because it feels special. Like Kanye resurfacing and like doing like these like listenings and like all of this shit and like you see him like he's like almost like a figment of our imagination. You literally said that about Frank the other night.
Mhm.
Like it's just like when you see Kanye like doing shit like this, you're like, oh fuck, like Kanye's dropping music and it's gonna be like special and like all the songs are probably gonna be bangers and like he really took his time on this project. Like, and then you're hearing the leaks and shit like that and the previews, and you're like, oh god, it goes super hard. And then like he brings his daughter out on stage to perform. Like that was pretty cool. And then like that Kodak Black, you gotta listen to that Kodak Black snippet. That shit goes crazy.
I'll take a look at it after this, but yeah, I think that's like the coolest thing when artists get to a point where they're close to dropping music, so they just kind of go out and chill in public basically and just connect their phone to any aux cord that's
Yeah,
nearby and
yeah,
we'll play any
yeah.
like play some of the new stuff. Like that's as good as like promo as you can possibly get. That's better than like paying for somebody to like better than paying for any advertising, better than paying for any marketing. Like if you're going to a spot
But it only
and
works because it's
like plugging
Kanye.
your I think it would work for other people too. Like
Not everybody
um
is as cool as Kanye though. Like that's why it's cool. Like
oh
because
no,
it's
no, I'm not saying
like
everybody,
the
but
shock value.
right, like Offset when he was about ready to drop his album, he was out in Paris and it was like Paris Fashion Week and they
Oh
were at
yeah,
like a club and they were just spinning it at that club
yeah.
and it was like it was hitting crazy. Like I could see Travis going in and Travis did that like not
In New
necessarily
York,
with Utopia, but like with some other stuff for the AP collab that he did.
dropped that Family Forever song on with
Yeah.
Future there, and it sounded insane. I'm with you. I
Yeah.
think
It sounds awesome.
yeah, it sounds cool. Even like it goes back to like in 2016 when Yeezy when he did like the first fashion show and he was in Madison Square Garden and he like popped out with like Travis, Cuddy, and like
Yeah.
Pusha T.
Thug was there.
And yeah, and like he was playing music and then like he was like Thug about to play some shit and then just like plugged some shit in and like played like a banger. Like that shit just like, bro, those are like memories that are made when like these artists are making music and really stick out to me. And yeah, what Kanye is doing right now is like exactly what I like to see out of an artist whenever they're getting ready to like drop an album, where it's like Kanye always seems to like be a very controversial figure and like will then go and like put out some sort of project to make everybody like just completely forget about that, because you like have to separate the art from the artist at some point, and he's just like brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah. And another thing that I like about when they go out and kind of do this on their own is you're getting it right from the source, as opposed to like some random 13-year-old in Kentucky that has like a random snippet and post it on TikTok. And then you're like, all right, well, is this legit or no? But when you see Kanye go out there and pop up at the Jamaican chicken spot and play a couple songs, you're like, oh, this is real. Like, we're there. We're about to get this. It doesn't get any better.
Album. We're getting
it doesn't get any better. Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, like I kind of like Ty Dolla $ign, like, and
Ty Dolla $ign is elite as a feature artist.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I'm excited. I think it's going to be amazing. I liked everything that I've heard so far, and I cannot wait for you to hear the Kodak Black snippet. Like, it's so good.
Let's see.
I mean, I could probably pull it up right now if you want me to. Can we get a live react from you?
Yeah, go ahead. I would imagine it's all right. We can play 30 seconds. But it's also a snippet, so like
I don't care, dude.
YouTube, don't ban us.
Can't get banned, they'll just like. Can you hear my dog?
Yeah. I thought that dude just chilled.
I thought so too.
What's he barking at?
Maybe the cops are here to arrest me.
For downloading all those illegal films.
Yeah. Can you hear this?
Kinda. Ooh. Yeah, I can tell that that's gonna. I couldn't really hear it all that well, but I kind of got the gist. Like I could kind of hear the beat a little bit, and I could hear like the flow. But
with Bad Bunny on there.
Yeah, that's gonna go crazy.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
Like, Bad Bunny.
Yeah, I thought that was a cool snippet. Like, and whenever Yak starts bopping like that, like I just think
that's one guy. That's one guy that. That's one guy that I wish would have, like, he went through like a crazy period where he just like wasn't. I don't know what the hell he was doing, but for some reason he always ends up on a Kanye album.
I just think that Kanye must like his vibe, I guess.
Yeah, easily could be it.
Like if he like likes the way he's making music and he's like, hey, I want you to come in and slide on this, like, and then he just comes and does it. Yak did just get arrested like literally last week, so it's weird that he was just like out in public just doing that, but like whatever.
Yeah.
Like all right, well we can get into the games, I guess, like even though I literally didn't watch any of them. But the first thing I want to talk about, go ahead, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say we could did you watch any of the Thursday night game?
Yeah,
I did. Start there.
Well, let me start with this because I heard something on the Yak today and I thought it was funny. So Big Cat calls somebody on the Yak and he's like, "I'm in Philly right now." He's like, "These fans fucking suck." Like he was like, "I've been a Jets fan for my whole life and we're terrible every single year. You guys lose 2 games straight and you guys are literally calling for every single person in the organization to get fired." And I thought that was a funny statement because it's kind of like, man, like Eagles fans are really spoiled, but at the same time, like it the what the Eagles fans and other fan bases that kind of like desire and like demand that excellence and then like the ownership like listens. Like I kind of think that's like a special part of like the organization and like what they do because they're not afraid to like make those changes and like listen to the fans because it's so loud that like you actually like can't ignore it. So I definitely think that the Philadelphia coaching staff and the players, like even though they said that they didn't, they have to feel some sort of pressure going into this later part of the season to win these games that they absolutely need to win and like hit their stride going into playoffs.
Yeah, the Eagles have been like either bad or mid for such a long time that now that they've finally been good within the last 15 years, like fans don't want to give that up. So it's once you get to that point where you are a regardless of Super Bowl wins, like you're consistently getting to the playoff, consistently winning football games. Like I understand they just won their first Super Bowl back in what was it 2016,
Yeah.
but as a fan, you don't want to give that feeling up. So you're going to do everything that you can in order or say anything that you can in order to stay there. And if things aren't, I can completely understand. Like you see things not working as a fan and you're like, oh no, what's happening? Are we going to suck again? And the panic button automatically gets broken out. And that's just like part of being a fan, I think. Um, but at the end of the day, you take a step back and you're like, okay, we're at a spot right now where we have great ownership and we have great people in like the business side of it that are locked in, that are paying, that care about the fans, that care about winning. And that's realistically like all you can ask for. If you have guys in the building that know what they're doing and care about winning, that usually leads to a good outcome on the field. But with that being said, yeah, I would say that the Eagles fans, myself included, have been spoiled. I'm not going to sit here and say that the sky is falling and everybody needs to be fired, but I can understand like the cause for concern. I think the players probably feel a little bit of pressure. I saw a report today that either right after like a lift or right before practice, I think it was Brandon Graham and Jalen Hurts like addressed the locker room, just bringing everybody back in, just saying, "Hey, like we got to stick together. We're still in a great spot. We still control our own destiny, like stuff like that." So, I don't think that would be I don't think those conversations would be happening if they didn't feel a little bit of pressure. And those
Yeah.
guys hold themselves to a high standard. Like
Yeah.
I get it.
One thing. First off, completely agree with all that. And if you're going to win 13 or 14 games, which it's kind of looking like it's shaping out to be that way for them, that's a really amazing regular season. So not
Yeah.
much to really bat an eye at. But the next thing that I wanted to say is LaShawn McCoy, like, I don't know, like, if he's just like doing it on purpose or like he's just like doesn't know what's going on because he did this with like Dak, where he was like, Dak sucks. It's like, he doesn't suck, but like, I get what he was trying to say. And then Dak comes out this season and like absolutely throttles. Now he's like, Jalen Hurts has no clue and he's not a good leader. When like there's been no speculation, report, anything over the last like 2-3 seasons, however long he's been the starting quarterback, that leadership has been any sort of an issue with Jalen Hurts. So I don't really understand where that comes from and why he felt the need to say that other than to just like get impressions and be annoying.
Yeah, I saw the tweet. I can't remember exactly what it said, but
I can pull it up.
I think that it's safe to say that when you have multiple guys in that locker room come out and say that like they trust Jalen, they believe he's a leader of this team. Like I think that goes much further than um, somebody that works in the media. And I understand LaShawn McCoy's more than that. Like he means more than that to the Eagles fan base and whatnot. But it seems like it was just something kind of for clicks and an overreaction.
He
Um,
said he said, I feel like we had leadership. I look at Jalen Hurts and he looks lost over there on the bench, like I don't know what to do.
I mean, I don't think that's a necessarily like a leadership thing on Jalen's part. That could just be straight up frustration because they're not executing. And do you want him to look happy during a game where they just turned the ball over 3 times and lost by 20? Like, I
I
don't
just don't.
know.
Yeah, what do they want him to do? Like, what do they want him to do?
Yeah. Do you want him to be like laughing and jersey swapping with Dak Prescott if they lose by
Yeah,
20 and have 3 turnovers?
because
Like,
people do that.
no.
People
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, exactly. I know I would be furious if I saw that. So I would rather have him look pissed off and not go out and do that other thing. Right. So I just think it was an overreaction. I think it's just I don't really think it's that big of a deal. I wouldn't carry like I wouldn't worry that much about it. Another idiot that is just saying things to say things is David Carr.
Oh yeah,
That guy fucking sucks.
it's just so like it's just random. Respectfully, we saw Marcus Mariota play last season. He was terrible for the Falcons. Like I still remember when he was getting sacked and he was like almost down on the ground and then just like threw it when he was like getting flipped and I was like he is done. Like he's just like not good anymore. And then he like quit on the Falcons like midway through the season and just like stopped playing. So I just don't really see how like giving him the starting role would like really do anything. I just gen I don't think anybody at this point in the season is really healthy, honestly. You kind of see that playing out right now where like the Dolphins' entire team was on the injury report today. Like if you have guys that have played this much NFL, they are going to be extremely banged up. That's just the reality of the season. And I think that a report got leaked in the beginning of the season that said that Jalen Hurts was dealing with some sort of shoulder injury that like doesn't get talked about like at all. It's more about like that bone bruise that he has on his knee. So I could definitely see there being something wrong, but again, like 3 weeks ago when he came back against the 4 weeks ago when he came against back against the Chiefs, nobody had anything to say. 3 weeks ago when he had a Michael Jordan second half against the Bills, nobody had anything to say. Now it's like, now it's time to rest him. Listen, we talk about it every single week. Quarterbacks and all these guys are going to have bad games and potentially even bad stretches. And halfway through the season, Brock Purdy had 3 bad games. They dropped all 3 of those games. People were saying that he sucked, he was done. Now he's literally the favorite to win MVP. So it these guys are going to go through stretches of the season where they don't look the same as they do other stretches of the season. It's just how it works.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long season and you're going to go through ups and downs. But the thing that annoys me the most is when David Carr said that, the reasoning that he mentioned it was getting Jalen Hurts healthy, and he's like, "Well, it doesn't matter. You're not going to beat the Niners anyways." Um, the entire reason you play the game is to win. I understand it's a lot harder to win if you're not healthy, but he just looks so foolish saying that because the Eagles are still in a spot to control their own destiny, and getting that first round bye means a lot in the grand scheme of getting extra rest, David. So if you would have addressed that, that might have made you seem like you had a clue as to what's going on. But I mean, it's just saying stuff to to say stuff. Like, I don't even care about the LaShawn McCoy tweet. That David Carr snippet just infuriated me.
Yeah, it's stupid. And honestly, at the end of the day, like if you were to do that as like an organization and a coaching staff when Jalen Hurts can play and is good to go, it's a bad look on them. And it's a bad feeling in the like he's played football, obviously. It's a bad feeling for the locker room, all of
Barely.
the above. Like it's just not a good look. So I don't understand why he thought that would be, but whatever.
Yeah, it definitely sends a bad message, like, oh, we're packing it in
For no
but
reason too.
like
Like
what
they're the
in
first seed and like they were the first seed. And it's like, yeah, let's pack it in this year.
yeah, in what scenario would you ever bench your starting quarterback when you have a chance to win the number 1 seed in your conference? It's it's just so stupid, and that's why shows like that hold no
Dying.
credibility, and people aren't
Dying.
watching them
They're
because
dying.
people are just saying dumb shit to get views, and it's just exhausting. It's exhausting.
It's exhausting. And I saw a few this week about or today about Cam Newton where like these media members are like absolutely ripping Cam for saying like these guys were like game managers and like not game changers. It's like that wasn't I don't think that was like a ridiculous take by Cam at all. Cam won an MVP, played in the Super Bowl, was a very dominant player at his prime, won a national championship, won a Heisman. Like he is like a plus tier of like a quarterback and like how his career played out. And then to have like some woman and Jason McIntyre, who's a complete dweeb, like have them like
Pipsqueak.
rip him about like his career and like how he didn't have a good career and this, that, and the third. It's like, you guys are ridiculous. So yeah, I'm with you. I don't like that side of the media in any way, shape, or form. I think it's dying. And I mean, I don't watch a lot of those. I don't watch any of those shows. I listen to The Ringer because they seem to be the most educated and non-biased. Like there are some of their reporters who get into those modes who like have a hard on for like quarterbacks, which is like completely fine. But like that's yeah, I just think it's ridiculous. But we talk about the media every week.
Yeah. I mean, post Panthers, Cam Newton was, I mean, not great, but that guy has enough credibility as an NFL quarterback to make
Say
a
what he
comment like
wants.
that.
Yeah.
Like Dak hasn't played in a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Dak
Like,
hasn't won an MVP.
yeah. I mean, neither has Brock Purdy. So, like,
Yeah.
I don't understand why we're acting like that's the most absurd thing to say, because it's not.
No, it's not at all. It's sad. But like I said, we talk about the fucking media every week because we hate the media. But I do want to talk about how the kind of one of the most viral things of the weekend was the end of the Chiefs Bills game. It wasn't even the end of the Chiefs Bills game, excuse me. It was 2nd and 10. The Chiefs had a play where threw it to Kelsey. Kelsey ripped it across the field to Kadarius Toney, and Kadarius Toney ran it in for a touchdown, and it got nullified due to the fact that Kadarius Toney was offsides. First off, the fact that that is Kadarius Toney is the most tell-all thing of all time, and people who like got mad at that, it's like, yeah, but it's Kadarius Toney, and he always fucks up. If it was Travis Kelsey who did it, we would have been like, what is going on right now? He never does that. And on top of it, like the way that every single one of those Chiefs players handled that. First off, it was 2nd and 10. You had 3rd and 10, you had 4th and 10. You did nothing with those plays. Next, the way that they addressed the media and handled it, and all of how Patrick Mahomes threw like a complete hissy fit on the field afterwards and in the post-game presser with like Andy Reid. I think everybody probably hates the Chiefs right now. I think that's like a universally agreed upon thing where everybody seemed to really like the Chiefs, and the way that they acted this past weekend kind of was a big fall from grace.
I think it's been more than just this past weekend. I've always liked Patrick Mahomes, but I never really noticed how much he complains until this year. And that could easily just be because they're not winning, so he's got more to complain about. But I'm definitely down on him, but that play was like the way that Mahomes and the rest of those guys handled it, it was just unfortunate to see. I'm pretty sure you can see the film like on those blue tablets that they have, right? And for him to just freak out on the sideline and then make those comments post game, like I don't understand what he was thinking, right? Like you can see clearly that he's offsides and saying in the press conference, "Oh, he's barely offsides." You just sound like an idiot.
Yeah.
And that's on Kadarius Toney too, because refs will literally tell you if you need to move back or if you have room to move up. And Kadarius Toney didn't check, and that's on him. So Mahomes and everybody over there has only themselves to blame. It was not on the refs. You had other opportunities. You had two more opportunities to convert a first down and go down and score, and you didn't.
It's
Now,
not like that play happened as time expired or anything like that.
Yeah, there was a minute and a half left.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw some like this podcast, this fantasy podcast I listened to. They like got into a big argument where they were like, that's like it's stupid because like it doesn't affect the calling on the field. It's like, okay, but if a defensive player lines up in the neutral zone and they it's a pre-snap penalty. So the flag gets thrown immediately. So they know that the flag is on the field. Probably not everybody, but they see the flag get thrown. Then the play happens and they were like, well, the play was so great that they should have just not thrown the penalty. And he was barely offsides. And it was like, well,
oh, we lost you. But yeah, you have to realize how stupid you sound when you vouch for Kadarius Toney being barely offsides. You cut out a little bit, so I filled in, but you have to realize how stupid you sound when you're trying to vouch for Kadarius Toney being barely offsides. Like, if that's the case, and we just want to let everybody line up offsides, like, well, just have him line up in the end zone.
What if we completely reverse the situation on that play, let's say, where the defense is lined up offsides, they get an interception, and they toss it backwards and run it in for a touchdown? Everybody would be up in arms that they were lined up in the neutral zone. So I'm just confused. And like, if people don't want the rules to be enforced for them, like, first off, the Chiefs get more than enough breaks from the referees throughout the course of the season. I've watched a lot of Chiefs games. I've bet on a lot of Chiefs games that have come down to the referees deciding the ultimate fate of the game. And when the Chiefs are on the receiving side of that, I didn't hear a peep out of Patrick Mahomes or anybody. But when they're on the opposite side of it, they just sat around and cried. And I just thought that was an extremely bad look. And to say that like Travis Kelce's Hall of Fame career is like ruined and like blah, 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 like complete overreaction. And it was gross. And yeah, I'm not a big, I don't like Mahomes because I don't know why. I just don't like him very much. And to see that this weekend, I was like, dude, I'm just so tired of like hearing about this team all the time. And we touched on it. I think we even talked about it in the car ride down to Philly, and we talked about it on the last podcast. I'm done hearing about how the surrounding cast for Patrick Mahomes is not good. At the end of the day, it's practically the same exact thing, same exact group besides Juju Smith-Schuster. And I think me and you kind of disagreed with it. I think Rashee Rice is a clear upgrade over Juju Smith-Schuster, and that's kind of the position that he's playing right now. It's their fault that they traded away a second-round pick for Kadarius Toney, and it's not working out. Lastly, it comes down to coaching, their scheme on offense, and understanding like what their limits and capabilities are. When you're constantly down and trying to fight and come back and putting yourself in these high leverage moments where it's like do or die, and if you don't get it done, you're going to lose the football game, you're going to be disappointed with this group of players. And that's just plain and simple. And on the defensive side of the ball, they're finally starting to kind of come back down to earth a little bit. A lot of that has to do with injury, but they still are relatively healthy. They just got back Nick Bolton, but their level of play is completely coming down over the course of the season. So I think what needs to be emphasized a little bit more here is Bieniemy not being the offensive coordinator anymore. And honestly, like they just look like a very sloppy football team this year. And I think that comes down to like their locker room. And we talked about that multiple times this season where it seems like a lot of the guys, including Kelsey, just like aren't locked in. So, and I think that that's really obvious when like this shit has been going on.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have said it any better myself. They're just getting annoying, and we've touched on it countless times about how they have nobody to blame but themselves. They didn't try to improve that offense and nearly enough. And they also were playing a Buffalo Bills team that was hungry and that actually needed to win this game. So the fact that like they had any inclination that the Bills would just come in and lay down because it's the Chiefs and because it's an Arrowhead and I don't know if that was what was going through their head, but it could have been we own the Bills, like we got this, right? Because they do own them, but they didn't get them this time. And I think the Mahomes situation has just been him freaking out has just been like a buildup of the lack of success that they've had this year. To be honest, they are probably like 4 plays away from having like
11
3
wins.
losses. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and I'm right with you. I just think that like that's fine that he's frustrated with the team. Then like he needs to step up and be a leader and like actually address the football team and like not have like a public outlash like against the people who like whose faults it's not actually. Like keep the people accountable in the locker room who should be kept accountable. And I think that has been like not a good job by them this year.
Yeah, I agree. I think this was a great year for Mahomes to like step up and be a little bit more of a leader. And we're kind of seeing how he's handling that because that guy's only had success in his NFL career. So for him to deal with as much adversity as they're going through, we're seeing how he's reacting. But the funniest part is they're still going to win their division because that division is not good.
No, Ross says Mr. Unlimited.
I hope so. I hope
Mr. Unlimited.
I hope the Broncos win that division, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah, it'd be cool. I just got a notification on my phone. Green suspended indefinitely. Draymond Green required to meet with the league conditions before return. I mean, we can talk about that for a second. Like, I saw that replay last night. What is wrong? Like, is he okay? Like,
I think he has CTE.
Like all of the outbursts that he has are like just so insane to me. Like, and then him like I just felt like that was completely unnecessary.
Yeah, I don't understand why he did that. And then he came out and said like, "Oh, I didn't mean to do that." I mean, you watch the film and it's not like they were like going back and forth or anything. Like Nurkic was just like there normally guarding him and he like flails around and swings his arm and just cracks him in the face. Like
shit was insane.
It's about time. It's about time that he's been suspended for like an indefinite amount of time. Like he's gotten away with so much nonsense and hoopla that it's deserved. And people out there are like, "Oh, every NBA soft now." I'm like, dude, this guy does. And somebody that I know was referencing Ron Artest, right? Like Ron Artest was a dog and was backing it up. Like Draymond is past that period in his NBA career where he can go out and do whatever he wants and then say whatever he wants. Like, I don't really know if he has that same level of respect as he used to. And people are just like tired of it. It just makes the game worse. Like there's no reason for him to do that.
Yeah, it does. And it's interesting to see kind of like the Warriors kind of fumble this late career Steph moment. I know they won a championship not too long ago, but like the last 2 seasons have kind of been like a disaster for them. And it's like weird to see them, how they've been like handling everything. So I definitely am interested. I was shocked when they made it a priority to bring Clay and Draymond back, and Clay has gotten benched in crunch time, and Draymond can't keep his emotions under wraps. So it's really interesting to see like how this is going to play out for the Warriors. I can't wait to see like the trade deadline, honestly.
Yeah, I think they're in a not a great spot right now. That Clay contract that he was waiting for, I saw a tweet today that they offered him this offseason 2 for 48 mil an extension,
Yeah.
and he declined. I mean, that guy's going to be lucky to get anything close to that moving forward. He's lost it. He's just not good anymore.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It's not great for the Warriors. I mean, Steph is still playing at an unreal level, but he just doesn't have the support around him. They've got 2 young guys, Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga, like that just aren't. They just need to play those guys because Andrew Wiggins has not been great at all this year. So I don't know. I don't know what the next move is for them because Draymond's old and can't stay out of trouble. Clay's not good. They've got Chris Paul coming off the bench. I mean, it's the roster construction over there is not great.
And Bob Myers left this past season, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Just an interesting thing, I thought. So the next thing that I have written down here is it's official that after the Germany game, when the Patriots lost to the Colts, that Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick have decided to part ways after the season. I was completely wrong on that. He then went into a presser and they asked him about it, and he said, "We're getting ready for Kansas City." So I love that guy. He's the GOAT. But Bill Belichick moving on from the Patriots after the season, interesting, very interesting. I'm curious to see where he goes. I'm gonna guess the Chargers, but who knows at this point? But I have to piss because I drank a lot of water, like always. So if you want to elaborate on that.
So I saw this report as well, and then I saw like a conflicting report saying that it was just a rumor. So I'll act like it's gonna happen. Bill Belichick is leaving the Patriots organization after this year. You heard it here second. I don't know. I don't know what the next move is for him. He could easily just retire and hang it up, but it's a weird spot because the Patriots are going to probably end up with the 2nd overall pick. They're probably going to draft a quarterback. That could easily be a reason for him to stay, but it seems like he might have just gotten to the point where he realizes, like, I need something new. I need to go somewhere with just better talent because they're not getting it done there in New England. I don't know if it's the Chargers, but anything could happen. I think he could realistically just retire and ride off to the sunset. But
yeah, I'm with you. I just think that he's got so much. I think he cares about that coaching record.
He does. I think he does too. I think he does too, but also, hold on. He's 71, and
so am I.
The only way that I think he gets there is if he does latch on to like a Justin Herbert or somebody like that, like somebody that is going to be good. Like, I don't think he's going to sit around and wait on a rookie quarterback to develop, especially when the surrounding cast isn't already intact. Like, they don't really have much around a Drake May or a Jaden Daniels, whoever they were to draft.
Yeah, I would definitely like to be big draft guys whenever the time comes. Just to let you know. I saw some early mock drafts already start getting released, so I love that time of year, so it was definitely it definitely caught my interest.
I'm all in on that. I love doing that too. So, but yeah, I think this draft is going to be crazy. I think we're going to see some moves. I think it's going to be a lot of fun when the time comes. I think that ultimately can determine like where we see some new head coaches go, where we see some moves being made. I think we're going to see some teams try to trade up maybe. we can save that for closer to the time being.
Yeah, let's just recap some of these games this week. The two Monday night games, both underdogs won. I actually said that on the thing. I thought the Packers would win, but I said that 13.5-point spread for the Titans was entirely too much. It looked completely dead at a point, but they somehow rose from the dead, and Will Levis came back out of nowhere. And
Will Levis.
Yeah, and he did his thing. So shout out to the Titans. They're always they're just such a sneaky team. It's insane.
Yeah, the Dolphins are in a spot where they could realistically not win their division. Their next couple games are tough.
Yeah, and they're hurt. They're really hurt.
They're hurt too. But yeah, I think that was the first time a team's come back from down 14 with like 3 minutes left in a game.
Yeah, it was like 269-0 all time.
Crazy, right? So good for Will Levis. I only really saw like the end of that game. I was dialed in on this Packers Giants game. That game was a lot of fun to watch, and
they both were,
which surprised me. Tommy DeVito he's
so
honestly
funny,
so electric. His family is crazy, bro, and his agent is like the most stereotypical agent that you would think.
It's so funny, bro. It's so
crazy.
Funny, bro. I literally think that those memes and everything, like, bro, that video when he scores the touchdown and his dad kisses his agent and his agent kisses his dad, like, I thought that shit was actually hilarious. Like, I like how the Giants are playing it. Like, they're like, fuck it. We literally have nothing to lose. Like, let's just go out and like string together some good wins. And I know a lot of people were really critical of like Dayball, but like Wink's got that defense like actually looking like pretty tough over this like second half stretch of the season. And then Dayball being able to like keep that locker room intact when it seemed to be falling apart. And like there's a lot, it seems that this team has a lot of chemistry. They all like each other. They're always fucking around on the sideline. Like, I don't really see many issues with the Giants. They just need to obviously figure out that quarterback situation.
Yeah, I think that what is it, Wan'Dale Robinson and like some of those guys that they have out there are kind of electric, and have definitely played better. But I would say that the vibe around the Giants has changed like strictly because of Tommy DeVito. Like he just has like a Tommy Cutlets. He just has like a huge vibe around him that's just like, we're gonna go out there and we're gonna schmutz it up and we're gonna go sling it around. And I mean, that touchdown pass that he had to Isaiah Hodgins was a dime in the back of the end zone.
And bro, he rushed for what?
71 yards.
71 yards, and he like looked at very athletic. Like, I like the way that the Giants were using him, and he looked really good, and they came in with a great game plan, and I mean, they fucking won. Like, it was a good game for them.
Yeah, especially against like the Packers, who've been playing really good football as of late. So yeah, that's a great win for them. The one thing, it's just crazy because the first time that Tommy DeVito played, like they didn't let him throw the football, and now he's just kind of out there slinging it around.
Gotta let him cook.
Speaking
of cooking,
well, I got it. Mr. Russell.
Speaking of cooking, Mr. Unlimited went into Los Angeles and beat
the Chargers
4-7. Yeah, I mean, I know that Herbert went down, but
Easton Stick.
But handling business is a important thing, especially in an interdivision game. They did their thing. Shout out to the Broncos. They're my pick to win the West.
Yeah, and Cortland Sutton had another like absolutely insane catch, one-handed in the end zone. Like, I can't say enough about how sneaky good this guy's season is. Not from maybe necessarily a yard standpoint, but like it feels like he scores a touchdown every game.
And apologies for saying that he was washed, because I feel like it's rare that you see Cortland Sutton, who got injured, had a major injury, came back, looked slow. He is back to 100%. and he looks really good, and he's making very big time plays in critical moments. So yeah, he's great. Him and Russ have a good connection. The other wide receivers don't really do shit. So good for Cortland. And yeah, I like this Broncos team. I wish they didn't lose the week before, but they seem to be in every single one of these games, and going out and losing to the Chargers would have been the most Broncos thing to do this week, and they didn't. They handled business. So this team, arrow pointing up.
Yeah, and the poor Chargers, man. I mean, this is probably a blessing in disguise for Justin Herbert that he doesn't have to go out there and just deal with this team anymore this season. Obviously, it sucks that he has to get surgery and is done for the year, but it's probably in his best interest to stay off the field for right now because they're horrible, and that coaching staff is just in shambles. Like, I don't understand still how Brandon Staley is the head coach. He should have been fired 7 weeks ago. And then I just saw today that Keenan Allen's not playing this weekend because of his foot. So they're struggling big time right now.
Yeah, I just think it's time for them to absolutely clear house. That's kind of the best way for me to describe it. I think, like, get rid of the coaching staff, get rid of the GM. Like, you guys just need to start fresh. There's a bad air in that locker room that like needs to be like figured out and solved. Trade away some of your quote unquote like key defensive pieces. Like, I would probably try to get rid of Derwin James if I were them. I know that
I'd probably try and get rid of Khalil Mack too. He's on like the back end of his career and and is still a really good pass rusher.
Yeah,
and could help somebody.
Same with like Joey Bosa. He seems to be getting hurt every single season. It's just like, it might be time to like move on from some of these guys who they view as like being like key pieces to them, who like really don't. Like, I love Derwin James. He's a dog, but like for somebody who is like paid as literally the league's highest safety, he doesn't really make too much of an impact on the defensive side of the football on a week-to-week basis.
Also another guy that can't really stay that healthy.
Yeah. So I just think that the Chargers should low-key be in blow-up mode, and they have a good base. You have Slater, you have a really great tackle, you have a decent O-line, you have Herbert, you have Keenan Allen in the back half of his career. You have Mike Williams tied up, which whatever, he can't stay healthy either. And then you kind of fumbled on this draft pick this year in the first round with Quentin Johnston. So I just think it's time to start over, start fresh. But you have Justin Herbert. Like, that's the hardest part. Like, now it's just time to like build around him.
Yeah, I was listening to Bill Simmons. I don't know if you heard this or not, but they brought up the scenario of like, if Chargers trading your pick or trading Justin Herbert for a top pick, would you do it? Like, would you trade Justin Herbert to the Patriots for like the number 2 overall pick?
I'd probably ask,
if you're going to, well, right. Yeah. Not just individually the first pick, but like pick plus other stuff too.
Yeah. I think it's
because if you're going to blow it all up, like, Justin Herbert has been in the NFL for what, 4 years already, 5 years.
Yeah.
And he's about to be due the bag, unless he already got it this offseason. I could be wrong.
I don't think so.
Yeah. So he's about to get paid the bag, and the Chargers are just not close.
They're not. But I do think that they I guess my take is like, no, don't do that, because you're not going to get a better quarterback than him probably. In the grand scheme of things, you kind of know what you have with him. You just need the management and like the ownership need to like take hiring a head coach like extremely seriously. Like, you need somebody that can like actually like come in and like create a culture, like, and a winning culture, and like evaluate proper talent and build that talent around the team. You can't have somebody that's like coming in and like fumbling the bag each year.
Yeah, you can't have a Carolina Panthers scenario.
No. We already touched on Buffalo, Kansas City. Shout out Buffalo. We picked them to win. San Fran 49ers. Gino missed the beginning of the game, or just randomly got ruled out. So San Fran handled business.
Is he playing this week against the Eagles?
Yeah.
Okay, because I haven't seen anything, and I obviously when we were out in Philly, I saw that he wasn't playing, and I was shook because I didn't see anything prior to the game about him being injured or whatnot.
Next game was the worst game on the slate. I kind of wish I watched it. Minnesota Vikings, Vegas Raiders, 3-0. Josh Dobbs is no longer the Pastronaut. He is benched, and
the astronaut.
And then from a fantasy perspective, Justin Jefferson finally came back and then got a hit and went to the hospital. Sent probably every single person in a frenzy, but he's playing this week, so that's good. The Raiders, they suck.
So bad.
The
Jets Texans game.
I wish
I would have been able to see that. I wish I would have been able to watch that one.
So from the sounds of it, it sounded like everybody got hurt in that game. Nico Collins got hurt, CJ Stroud got hurt, and then you just gotta let Zach cook. I've been saying it literally all season, and yeah, I mean, good for the Jets. Like they needed a win. Bad loss for the Texans who want to be taken seriously as like a playoff contender. So yeah, hopefully that those guys can get healthy. They seem to be losing players every single week, which at this point in the season is a bad look. Nico Collins with a calf injury, which makes that surrounding cast without Tank Dell and Nico like pretty lackluster, to say the least.
Yeah, it's not where you want to be, but also I think the Texans are ahead of schedule right now. Anyways, I don't really know if people didn't really expect them to be this good. So
true.
The fact that when they're healthy, we see what they're capable of, I would say that that's a good sign. Now they're not out of the playoffs yet, but I mean, if these injuries keep piling up, they're not in a great spot. I've seen here today that Nico Collins didn't do anything at practice, so it's not looking great for this weekend.
Yeah, Saints, Panthers, don't have to touch on that too much. Cleveland, Jacksonville, we didn't watch the game, obviously, but I didn't, but Cleveland won. Good for them. Seems to be like a one-possession game. I don't know what happened. Bengals.
Flacco turned up.
Yeah. Bengals, Indy is crazy. But go ahead. Yeah. What were you about to say about the Jacksonville?
Well, I was going to say, like, the Jags honestly did Trevor Lawrence a disservice by like letting him play in this game.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw him get injured on Thursday night against the Bengals last week, and them listing it as a high ankle sprain, which is like a 4 to 6 week injury, and then him coming back and playing right away just makes absolutely no sense to me. So it was either it wasn't a high ankle sprain, or I don't know what the hell they're doing over there. But
I just think T-Law's tough, dude. He played through that knee injury for the first like 6 weeks of the season. I just think he's one of those. I think that he is going to be one of those guys as we watch football over the next like decade, who's like always going to play through an injury. He just seems like that sort of dude, like whether that be for good or bad or the worse or whatever, like he did it last year and the year before. He just doesn't give a fuck. He's like Brett Favre, like he's just going to play.
Yeah, that might come back to haunt him at some point. I mean, as long as he's not sending dick pics out to staff members, then he'll probably be all right. But didn't Brett Favre do that?
I have no idea. That'd be crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to type in my laptop Brett Favre
allowed to do that?
But no.
Is that frowned upon?
No. Yes, it's frowned upon.
Let me take some notes down here.
I'm not going to look it up because I'm not typing that into my laptop, but
I'll look it up right now.
It's crazy to me that Joe Flacco is like still kind of balling. 3 touchdowns, 311 yards against the Jags this weekend. And
yeah, that did happen.
yeah, I told you.
He got in trouble for sexting. All right, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that it's impressive that Flacco, Lord Pretty Flacco Jody is still out there slinging it around. I mean, that guy's arm's going to be they probably take it and put it on ice immediately when the game's over, because there's no reason a 38-year-old man should be throwing the football 45 times, but
good for him.
Here we are.
Next game shocked the hell out of me. Bengals, Indy. Bengals 34-14. They handled business. I can't really speak on it, obviously, but good for them.
Yeah, that game really cucked me because the Colts were the last team on my teaser, and I had them to lose or to cover 16, and they got smoked. So that one hurt.
Next game, we kind of said this on the pod this week, arrow pointing down for the Lions. We said that we don't like their defense. We said that we don't like Jared Goff outside. They went to Chicago and got handled. So don't really, like I said, I didn't watch the game, so I can't speak on it too much, but the Lions definitely need they need to figure something out here quick.
Yeah, I'm seeing here that Jameson Williams didn't even have a target. So I don't really know what the deal is there. Draft a guy, what first? Did they draft him first round?
They traded up to get him.
Traded up to get him and then just don't even give him the football. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me.
Amrad
but yeah,
had a good game.
Yeah, but tough scene for them. But this game was close last time they played, and we were spot on. The Bears are kind of playing good football as of recent. Their defense has been turning up, and Justin Fields has been playing pretty well.
They're sneaky.
Sneaky.
And we go back to this. I do ultimately think that they go and trade away Justin Fields at the end of this season, but
I do too.
There's got to be teams out there like salivating for the chance to get Justin Fields into their locker room. At least me personally, I feel that way. I think that he has a place in the league. I've said it for a while. You said it too. He just looks good. So Justin Fields to the Falcons would be amazing.
That was the scenario that I like, the coaching scenario. Him, Ben Johnson on the Falcons. That place would get bumping.
Yeah, I would love to see it. Even I know everybody hates Arthur Smith, but to see Justin Fields in an Arthur Smith led offense, like you saw what he did with Tannehill and like Derrick Henry, like I don't know, man. I would, and like when they had Tannehill, Derrick Henry, and what's his name? AJ Brown, like they were dangerous. And I think like that off, if they get Justin Fields in there, dude, like fucking big Drake London out on the outside, but Bijan, Justin Fields, Kyle Pitts, like it's low key a nasty group of skill position players. So, and their defense is frisky, but that'd be nasty.
Yeah, that's the agenda that I'm pushing this off season. We didn't even touch on like potentially the best game, the Rams Ravens.
Yeah, that was the next one here on the list. Rams Ravens, punt return to win the game. What I didn't watch, but what this says to me right now, I was tracking it, is the Ravens being able to pull out these games when in the past few weeks they've lost these games in a situation where it's been close at the end, like with the Browns. You go out in overtime and you handle business. You obviously give up a lot of points, but a lot of the season has been predicated on the fact that you have a really good defense, but then you go out and put up 37 points on offense when your defense has a bad game. That sticks out to me a lot.
Yeah, I think the Ravens are really a really good football team. And I think the Rams have been playing really well since Stafford got back. So the Rams are not a team you can take lightly, and clearly we saw that. The Ravens pulled it out, and I think that goes a long way with it'll go a long way like later down the year, like being able to kind of pull out a game that's like right down to the wire, right? Like having a walk-off punt is probably not the punt return is probably not the ideal way that you wanted to win this game, but I mean, they did what they needed to do. They pulled it off, and it was a sick game. Got to see bits and pieces of it, but I think it also is really important that Kyron Williams is back in this Rams offense. They just look so much better with him in the backfield.
Yeah, for sure. He's a dog, and he's probably going to be a high fantasy pick next year. All jokes aside.
Yeah, I think he is too. it's probably going to be like McCaffrey at 1 again.
He's
Jettas,
crazy.
Chase, Cooper Kupp. Yeah, I think it's. I think that I think a lot of people wanted to take who was their running back earlier in the year from Florida
Cam
State.
Akers.
Yeah, people really were high on him coming into this season, I thought, and
They were.
and when you get a running back that knows what they're doing back there in this offense, it just makes it a whole lot easier for Matt Stafford, and then they just play off one another. And any Rams offense, like, realistically feels like you have a good chance of having, if you draft somebody in it, you have a good chance of having some success with that player.
Yeah, good job of them scouting. Obviously, this goes against the pay the running back argument. You scooped up Kyron Williams in the 5th round from Notre Dame. So good job scouting by the Rams scouting department, which they've done a great job. They've hit on Puka, they hit on Kyron Williams, they hit on a bunch of young guys on their defense when everybody was pretty much like, they're going to be like, I remember going into the season, pretty much everybody said that they were going to be like one of the worst teams in the league. Like, I thought it was going to be between them and the Cardinals. I could probably go back and like find how many wins I projected them at, because I did write it down, but that's kind of how I felt. Like, I just like didn't think that they had too much. Like, I just thought that they were going to be like kind of like in a rebuild mode, but yeah, I mean, completely wrong on that one.
Just goes to show how absurdly good a coach is, absurdly good Sean McVay is as a coach.
Definitely. Yeah, I have it right here. I have I have the Cards 1-16 and the Rams as 3-14.
Oh boy.
So those guys absolutely smashed expectations. And my worst
I was right there with you. I thought both of those teams were going to be bad, and the Rams are like not even completely out of the playoff picture yet. So
my worst one is the Chargers at 15-2. So bad.
But I love that. That's hilarious.
Next game, Tampa Bay Falcons. Falcons really dropped this one in a 1-possession game. No shock there. That's every single one of their games are down to the last possession, it seems like.
Every NFC South team is, I mean, the Bucks are in first place now at 6-7.
Yeah, it's awesome.
The NFC South is like the new NFC East. Like, they're gonna have a team that has a losing record make the playoffs. Crazy.
Last one. This brings real joy in my heart. The Pittsburgh Steelers losing on Thursday night to the Patriots.
So good.
Like, it just feels good. Like, I said it, I think it was a few weeks ago when Jake Browning first came in, and I said, if you think that the Steelers are fraudulent, you should take the Bengals in the spot. I think that if the Jake Browning that's been playing the last 2 weeks went and played that game against the Steelers, I think that it would have been another loss for them. But them going out and losing to the Cardinals, who are in a rebuild, and then the Patriots, who we thought were dead in the water, and now it's just like they lost both of those games back to back at home. Like, that feels good to watch. As a Steelers hater,
it was awesome. Unacceptable losses, and I adamantly went on a rant about how the Steelers can't keep getting away with this.
Yeah,
as far as winning these nonsense games, like having their defense just pulled out of their ass at the very last second, and my wish is coming true. They look, I mean, not Kyle Zappi, but shout out Kyle. Bailey Zappi looked like freaking Tom Brady in the first half of that game.
It's insane, dude.
Sorry.
It's insane. Like,
well, I know two people named Zappi, and I don't say Bailey Zappi's name that much.
Dude, fair. Yeah, I mean, I can't believe that they went out and like looked competent on offense. If I thought that they were to win this game, I thought it was going to be like 9-6. And like,
what the Steelers need to do is free Eskimo bro Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, seriously. Who said that? AB?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. He's crazy, bro. No, but I think I think it's official. I think the Steelers kind of have like what they need to do is Tomlin needs to go outside of the building and hire an OC, which isn't usually what they do. I just think it's time to kind of take that step and take it serious. What I do think is very clear is a report came out before Mitch Trubisky took over saying that the Steelers were pretty much like right there with Kenny Pickett, regardless if he was hurt or not, that he was going to get benched. So I think that they kind of the writing's on the wall for them. They know that they need to make a splash at quarterback, and I also think that Justin Fields is in play for the Steelers.
Yeah, I keep seeing that being floated around as well. I know that one of my Steelers friends would love for them to take a chance on Justin Fields. He also wants them to go outside of the building to hire an OC, which, like you mentioned, is not normal for them. But I think at this point, it's something that has to be done. This offense has just looked brutal.
Bad.
And I think it's time to get like a fresh set of eyes in there, because Big Ben's gone and he can't fix all your there's nobody in that quarterback room that can fix all your problems. You got to have somebody that is uber talented at as an offensive coordinator to come in there and really fix it. And even then, it's not a guarantee. Like Pickett could obviously just be bad, and that's a problem.
Well, I mean, how many quarterbacks past the top 5 usually go and do anything? He fell to 20th for a clear reason in my head, at least, and it's starting to show now. He just doesn't have that upper scale talent to like really lead a football team into a successful season, because like you said, like there was rumors that they were just going to like bench him regardless. The offense hasn't looked good literally the entire year. So yeah.
I saw a tweet that said that Tommy Cutlets has more passing touchdowns in his like 3 or 4 games than Kenny Pickett does in his 12 games.
That's actually crazy. It is. Like, that's just flat.
Especially with the talent around Kenny Pickett versus the talent around Tommy Cutlets.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
And it's not like the Giants are good. Like,
no, some would say they suck.
Some would say. I am some. Whoa. You hit in the casino.
I don't know why that's like that. All right. Let's go over this. Chargers Raiders, absolute biggest stay away of the year on this game. Aiden O'Connell versus Eason Stick. Devontae Adams didn't practice this week. Josh Jacobs didn't practice this week. Keenan Allen's not playing. Justin Herbert's done. If you gamble on this game, you're a complete degenerate. Go and eat dinner with your family. Hang out with your children. Like go to the gym for a longer period of time on Thursday night. Like, this is a bad game.
With that being said, I will be gambling on it, but
yeah,
it's a big
I'm slapping the over.
Dude, this game's gonna be one of the more difficult watches that we've had.
No touchdowns scored.
There is a bet that is nobody to score 3 times consecutively. So I will be taking that. And I believe it hit during the Steelers-Patriots game last week too.
All right. Next game, Vikings-Bengals. So this line is a little weird to me, honestly, because it feels like the Bengals should be at least 3-point favorites at home to the Vikings, who put up 3 points last week. They're not.
With a backup quarterback starting this week, though.
Yeah,
another backup, backup.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I don't really know like how I feel about this. This seems like the biggest rat line ever. So I would lean towards the Vikings and like hold my nose.
I actually like the Bengals in this spot a lot. I think Browning has just been playing well, and I think that the defense is kind of tuned in a little bit. And what is it? Nick Mullins playing quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Bengals cover.
He has better career stats than Andrew Luck. Somebody pointed out today.
Nick Mullins.
Yeah. He has more passing yards and passing touchdowns than Andrew Luck.
Jesus.
Anyway.
Gone too soon, Andrew Luck.
Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Colts. I'm probably just going to bet against the Steelers for the rest of the season because it seems like the sports book hasn't caught up yet.
Which is insane. The Colts are actually like a decent football team.
Yeah, and they're in Indianapolis. I don't know how much difference that makes, but still.
Yeah, I'm taking the Colts. I'm taking the Colts there. I think they probably win by a field goal. If I had to guess.
I like them.
But I'm going to guess. I hate so far I hate these matchups. All these quarterbacks fucking suck.
Yeah, it's bad. Next game, best quarterback on the board so far, Mr. Unlimited. Right. I do genuinely think that the Broncos go into Detroit and win this game. I just do.
I do too. I'm right there.
And even if you don't think they win, every single one of their games comes down to one possession. So take the 4 and like hope that they lose by 3 at the bare minimum.
This is a game that I would 100% throw in a teaser.
Yeah.
I think the Broncos are gonna probably keep it close. They're playing really well. Although this is a very, very like Lions need to lock in game at home too. I still like the Broncos. I'm just saying like this is a scenario where like the Lions need to win this football game, I think. Or they're going to be like, they're still going to make the playoffs, but for the sake of the locker room and for the fan base, like they need to win this game.
For sure. It's a kitchen sink game for the Lions, low key, but I think 4 points is too much. Buccaneers at Packers. Honestly, at Lambeau, I like the Packers. Maybe them in Florida in the warm weather, I wouldn't like it, but I like the Packers in the spot, in a bounce back spot.
Yeah, honestly, anytime the Packers are playing at home
this late in the season.
This late in the season, it's going to cause issues for whoever they're playing. Let's see if I can pull up the weather. Hopefully it snows like 6 feet. But yeah, I like the Packers here. I think they end up bouncing back, and I don't know. I'll bet against every NFC South team the rest of the year too.
Next game, Giants versus Saints. This is an easy one. Give me Tommy Cutlets. I'm riding the wave.
Same.
I just think that the Saints like aren't that great. And I don't know. I just want to see the Giants fuck themselves out of a good pick and beat the Saints.
I hate the Saints with like a burning passion. So, and it's not even because like they've beaten the Eagles or anything. It's just they are not fun to watch. Like free Chris Olave. I also don't like Derek Carr. So I'll bet against Derek Carr. And like you said, Tommy Cutlets is electric. And it would be funny if the Giants like just kept winning and didn't make the playoffs and then just screwed themselves with a bad draft pick.
Next game, Falcons, Panthers. Yeah, I mean, I like the Falcons in all these matchups, but I mean, they're always liable to lose. But like, I think that they can keep it in within one score.
I think the Falcons end up winning this game by a touchdown. I just think the Panthers are so bad.
Yeah, they're bad. Bad.
That I don't even think that. Like, I think 3 might be too much, or might be not enough.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just hate the Panthers. They're just bad this year.
Just bad ball from them.
Next game, Texans, Titans. I think probably I would lean towards the Texans just because the Titans coming off of like that big emotional win with like double-digit underdogs, but the Titans haven't lost at home yet this season, so I don't know. Titans at home, you probably like have to take them.
I would wait until
it already got announced. CJ Stroud's playing.
Oh, I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say Nico Collins. I was going to say Nico Collins.
He's not playing. He's done. He's not playing this week.
Yeah, so I don't really know who that football is going to go to. And the Titans are What is the situation with the standings over there?
I'm not sure.
Oh, the Titans are in last. But I mean, they're 5-8. I mean, they could basically play spoiler. The Texans like need this game if they want to. Yeah, the Texans need this. The Titans are coming off a huge win at home. It feels like the games that the Titans have are expected to win, they always end up losing. So I just don't know who CJ Stroud's going to throw the ball to.
And their run game hasn't been great all year.
Yeah, I screw it. I'll take the Titans too.
Jets, Dolphins. Yeah, this
Yeah,
is one of
yeah.
those games where you probably have to wait for the injury report. That injury report, I saw it on X today with the Dolphins. It's their whole team, like Reek, Mostert, Waddle, like everybody, their whole line. They're starting center toward their ACL during the game. Like
Saw that.
they're down bad. So this is probably, if Tyreek Hill plays, I like them. If not, maybe the Jets points.
Yeah, there's 11 guys on this injury report. Devon Achane, Teron Armstead, Tyreek Hill, Xavier Howard, Raheem Mostert, Andrew Van Ginkel. So there's a lot of. I mean, the Jets injury report is just as long. Zach Wilson, Quincy Williams, Joe Tippmann, Breece Hall, Mekhi Becton, Aaron Rodgers.
Next
No, but yeah, I would take the Dolphins there. They need to win out of the next 4 games. This is a game that they desperately need to win because the following 3 are not easy.
Fair. Next game, Bears, Browns. The Browns seem to be losing somebody every single week to injury on their defense. They lost Grant Delpit today. They lost a D lineman today. So I'm gonna I don't think that has been taken into account in this line really. So I just think that Joe Flacco cools off a little bit, and the Bears have been playing really good football. So I'm gonna take the Bears just to kind of win out right here.
Yeah, this would be the other leg of my teaser with the Broncos. I just like what the Bears are doing right now. The Browns are just depleted as far as injuries go. You mentioned Grant Delpit. There was another guy that just got announced that they were hurt.
Yeah,
that he
they're
was
D
hurt.
linemen.
Yeah, so they're just falling apart. That's not what you want to be doing heading potentially to the playoffs. And the last thing that you want to see as a Browns fan with a depleted defense is Justin Fields, who can kind of run all over you. So I like the Bears in a teaser in this one at the very least.
Okay, next game, Chiefs Patriots in Foxborough. Yeah, I'm sticking to my guns. I don't like this pick at all, but Pats plus 8.5 is probably the play for me personally. Just gonna kind of bet on the fact that the Patriots defense can do enough and keep this game ugly. I mean, that's pretty much it.
I think this would be the third leg of my teaser for the Pats. Actually, I lied. I would tease this down to the Chiefs minus like 1.5.
1.5. I think that's safe. I think it's completely safe.
I think I would do that rather than give the Patriots 15.
And then lose.
Yeah. I would feel much worse if I bought a touchdown and the Chiefs just went out and fucking smoked them, because I think that could still happen very easily.
All right. So what was this? We're going to take
the teaser for the.
We're going to take
the Broncos Bears.
Broncos what, to 7.5?
What was the original?
4.
Yeah.
And then
the Bears. The Bears.
The Bears to what? 7.5?
Probably. I mean, I would end up taking higher just because I'm a pussy, but let's just run it all at like 7.5 and then Chiefs minus 1.5. I mean, right off the bat, we're already at plus something. I might do the 2.5, but whatever.
Plus
165.
165.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all.
Yeah, I mean 25 wins you 41. I like that bet, honestly.
Yeah, I will be adding that to the card.
Okay. Back to it. We have the Commanders versus the Rams. Yeah, I think the Rams probably win in this situation. I think the Commanders are dead. Their defense looks bad. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I really like the Rams by probably like 10 this game. I think they're going to get back on track against the Commanders, who are just god awful. It's in LA. I think the Rams are going to put up numbers, actually. Now that I keep looking at this, I think this game is going to be ugly.
Yeah, 50 points. It's a lot of points.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I just don't know if the Commanders are going to be able to hold up their end of the bargain on this, because that O-line is really rough. But so I would probably stay away from that. But I love the Rams to win by a touchdown.
Next game, 49ers Cardinals. Earlier in the year, Cardinals actually kept this like a little interesting, almost covered the 14.5, but Zach Ertz dropped a touchdown from the pastronaut to win the game, or not win the game, to cover the 14. Big fuck up by them, obviously. And I think that the Cardinals off of a bye this week, I like them in this spot against the 49ers, and I think that they have a potential to possibly beat them.
I'm not going to bet against the 49ers until they play like a decent team. I think they're too hot right now to bet against them.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely slapping the Cardinals money line at plus 560. I think that the Cardinals are one of those weird teams. The last time they played each other, the 49ers were completely healthy, fully healthy, and the Cardinals were kind of frisky with Josh Dobbs. This is a completely different team at this point. So I just think like off of a bye, I think 12.5 points is a lot, and I think that they have the potential to actually pull off the upset.
I hope you're right, because I don't like the Niners whatsoever. So I hope the Cardinals have a little magic in them. Hopefully K1 can scramble and sling it around for 4 quarters. That would be greatly appreciated.
Next game, Cowboys Bills. Probably the most important game here on the card for both teams, because the Bills need it because they need to win. And I feel like the Cowboys need it to prove that they can continue to beat the best talent in the league. With that being said, I love the Cowboys to win this football game.
It's wild to me that the Cowboys are underdogs here. I get that playing at Buffalo is tough, and I think the Bills are a good team. I think the Bills need this game more than the Cowboys. I think this game's going to be a shootout. So I love over 50.5 here. I think the Bills are going to win this. I'm also hoping that they win this. I'm not picking the Cowboys out of spite, even though they stand a very good chance to win. They're just on fire right now.
Yeah, I want to see them beat this team pretty bad. That's pretty much it. I want to see them continue being the best teams if they want to be one of the best teams. And I think this is one of those spots where, if you think the Bills are dead, which I kind of still do believe that, like, this is one of those games where the Bills, like I said last week, I don't think the Chiefs had enough firepower to keep up with the Bills on the offensive side of the football. Ultimately, they won, but like I don't think that was too much of an issue. Like the Chiefs seemed to be able to at least put up some points on them, but not a ton. So I think that the Cowboys should be able to put up points on this Bills team. So
You cut out for a second.
I just cut out.
Yeah.
Dak's been playing the cleaner style of football, like taking care of the ball more than Josh Allen. So that's kind of how I'm deciding this game is like I am going to bet that the Dallas defense can cause 1 or 2 turnovers and maybe the Cowboys commit 0.
Well, I think it's almost a guarantee that Dallas forces 2 turnovers.
Yeah.
This is like the most perfect Josh Allen 2 interception game, 400 yards, 4 touchdowns of all time. I think Diggs is going to go off.
He's due. I mean, he's been quiet. So their whole receiving core has been quiet. I mean, Gabe Davis is so disappointing.
He sucks.
And on top of that, we say that, and then he's gonna have. This is gonna be the week that he has like 5 catches, 168 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Can't wait.
But yeah, it's what I think. I mean, Diggs is due, so we'll see. Next game. This is also low key a really important game. Jacksonville versus the Ravens. I will say strictly off the bat, Ravens first half for me up to this point in the season's a mortal lock. So I like that. That's probably my best bet on the board, no matter what it is. Like, I just think that they win the first half. And then, but as like a full game standpoint, I have no clue. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know if the Jacksonville defense will show up. So full game, I'm probably going to stay away from, but definitely love the Ravens first half.
I think I like the Ravens full game. I think the Jags defense has not looked great the last couple weeks. And the Ravens are just cooking on offense. Lamar Jackson's such a problem, and I feel like they're at a really good spot offensively. I'm also really not sure about Trevor Lawrence's ankle still, and that Ravens defense is very scary. So I just don't really like this matchup that much for the Jags.
I respect all of those points. Next game, Eagles at Seattle. The Eagles have not beat the Seahawks in 15 years. Which is crazy. That's a crazy stat. But this win for Jalen Hurts would have him beating every single NFC team ever, like in the NFC in his first 3 seasons, which has never been done before. The Eagles need this win. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this game. I think that it should probably. I don't think that the Eagles should be favorited in this spot in Seattle. So I don't know. I like the Eagles within a touchdown for sure.
I think the Eagles should be favorited, but I don't know if it should be 3.5. I think it should be close to that tic-tac line, like 1.5, just because they've just not played well. And I think that the Seahawks, if Geno's playing and slinging it, it's just not a great matchup for the Eagles because they can spread.
He's playing.
Okay, so yeah, they can spread. He can spread it out to 3 different guys that are good, and I don't like that. The Eagles have to maintain possession of the football and just try to limit possessions would be my keys to success here. But with that, I mean, I'm taking the Eagles. They need to win this game if they want to get the number 1 seed. You can't expect the Niners or the Cowboys to, you can't rely on the Cowboys to lose the rest of the year. So like, you know what you have to do. If you're the Eagles, you got to win out. I think they win this game.
I respect that. I do too, but for parity's sake, I want to see the Seahawks win. The last thing I want to touch on is I had that job interview today. I think it went well. It was like it wasn't like the other 2 interviews I had. So it was like the first 2 were like real interviews. Like it was with like the VP and then like the head management of like the company or whatever. Both great people. They were good vibes. The woman was so nice. The guy was a little bit more like stern, but like had a good vibe to him. You kind of like felt his like management style. And then the second one was with 2 other people, both great. I haven't had a negative interaction with any of these people. They've sold themselves like amazing. And then today I met with like the president, and the first thing he said to me was like, yeah, like I saw some recognizable names on your resume. Like I've personally done work with like Adam Brenneman and with Mike Regan and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, cool. So he actually did a bunch of work for Penn Live, like with like the Philadelphia Eagles, the Steelers, and the Ravens, and like covering them and like creating like a subscription service out of that. So I asked him about that, but it was like more of like a conversation. He asked me like literally one question, and then I asked him a bunch. I feel like it went pretty well. Like I reached out to like a few people that like my old HR woman, some other people that like opinions who like have been in the workforce for a long time. And they said like, yeah, like it seems like it went really well, but like, obviously you can't feel good about anything until like it's
you get that offer.
Yeah. Until it's like completely finalized. Until then, I'm like, I'm not even like close to being happy, but like, it does feel like it went well today.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that if you're this far into the interview process that things are going well. I don't know if it's good or bad that he didn't ask you anything. I'm assuming that they like kind of understand who you are and your resume and your background, like kind of already. That'd be my guess. But I also think like it's important to just be able to have a conversation with somebody, and I think you can learn a lot about them as a person outside of like their work experience, because like that's all great if you are qualified, but you also want to make sure that you're hiring good people, and I think you are that. And if you can just have a conversation with a guy and it goes well, then
yeah, it felt like the way I would describe it is like a temperature check. Like it was like, because I asked him like one of my like last questions. I was like, if there's any issue, do you have any like concerns about my fit for this position? If you do, like, can I address this right now so I can like give you like a clear decision making like path or something like that. I forget what I said exactly. And he was like, man, like, honestly, like, I don't, but like, that's questions like really not for me. It would be like for Kelly. So like my advice to you would be like, just send her an email, like tell her that you thought of a question and I like passed it on to you to ask her. So he seemed to like, it just seemed like a normal conversation. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
and then like we had like a good convo, and then at the end I sent him an email. He responded back and was like, he's like, thank you for the note and your time today. Like, if you have any other questions, like please feel free to reach out. Like, don't be hesitant. And then I sent that email to that other woman and was like, yo, not yo, but you know, I was
I know what you mean.
I was like, hey, like if there's any concerns or whatever, like I'd like to address it, like moving forward, like have the time to do it. She hasn't emailed me back yet, which could be a good or bad thing, but I just hope I get a job. When I texted Mandy, she was like, it sounds like that they're going to have an offer for you ready, like by early next week.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about like an offer, but I would say that everything that you've told me sounds very good. And I mean, I'm not going to assume anything, but it sounds like you're in a great spot. I also wouldn't like worry about that lady not emailing you back like right away.
Yeah.
People are busy.
The president did.
That's probably a better sign.
he emailed me back like literally in like 2 hours. I was like, oh, that's cool. Like he was a cool ass dude. He like did like I said, he had like a bunch of experience like in football and stuff. So me and him like kind of like vibed over that for a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. I hate the wait. Like we talked about it on the ride home from Philly. I just like hate the waiting aspect of this like entire thing. Cause like now it's like, okay, like I had the meeting. Now it's like, now I have to wait another week. Like I've been interviewing for this position for like over a month. Like it's just like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like what am I gonna, like when am I gonna hear by? Like I didn't want to like be too pushy, but I was just kind of like, what are the next steps? Like, and he was like,
oh, well, you always got to ask that.
Yeah, he was like, well, the next step's pretty much like you're hired or you're not. Like he didn't say that exactly, but that's kind of like the answer that he gave. But yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Sounds like we need to get this guy on the pod.
He was a cool like I said, everybody's been like I mean, I've interviewed at a couple places, and a few places have done like an awful job at selling themselves, like where they've just been like, yeah, like you have to meet like some sort of quota, and if you don't, like you're gonna be letting the team down, like blah blah. I'm like, I'm not even in the door yet. I don't even know what's going on. Like you're like not making this position like desirable, like in any way, shape, or form. Like today, he kind of like expanded on the fact that like you know how like the Patriot News like did the paper. He was like the paper is not going to exist in 5 years. So he was like, we're moving into like the digital space, and like we want to do like a full service creative agency and like this that, and do sales and ad rev. And I was like, yeah, you're speaking my language. Like that excites the hell out of me. Like that's interesting. Like that's like what I want to be doing. So
yeah.
And then he pretty much said like sports is like a major thing that like he wants to like keep focus on because he thinks that it's like the best like community builder. He was like high school sports. He said Penn State does really well for us, obviously. And then he was like any pro sports. So
it sounds like everything's going well. I mean, I know it sucks having to wait, but that's just the way she goes.
I just want like, listen, from the sounds of it, from like the time, like where we're at, like in the year, it seems like if there would be an offer and I accepted it, they would be like, yeah, like you're going to have to start like in January.
Correct. That would be my assumption as well, because everybody kind of takes off that week between Christmas and New Year's, and even sometimes
Christmas is on a Monday.
More than that. Yeah. So realistically, you wouldn't start until, I mean, you can start right away, but I don't think they're going to start you and then have everybody leave for a holiday and then come back. So realistically, say you got an offer on Friday, I don't think they would start you until like that first week of January.
Whatever, man.
Yeah.
So. But hey, good talk, good pod. It turns out that us not watching the games did not deteriorate us from going for an hour and 46 minutes. So that's good.
Did not affect it at all.
All right, brother.
All right. Go Birds.
See ya.
See ya.